The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. I said it on last week's show, and that is people want to know about real estate, whether or not they're in the market to buy or sell, and we want to know about it on a regular basis, and that's why we're here on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick. On today's show, we're going to talk about property taxes, both residential and commercial, with a property tax expert. In addition, we will have a real estate coach on the show. That's going to be fun, and of course, as always, some top real estate professionals on this show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Let's start the show right now. Our guest is Jeremy Williams. He is the owner and founder of Red Hawk Coaching Services for real estate professionals. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Bill, thank you for the opportunity, and excited to be on the show, and thank you also to Stewart Title. Looking forward to our conversation today.
And I will tell you, any profession, I believe, whatever you're in, coaching is so important, but certainly in the real estate world, Jeremy, it's competitive. There are, I don't know what the count is on realtors in the Houston area, but let's tell people from your perspective the importance of coaching as a real estate coach, and you're doing this every day.
Yeah, the biggest thing, Bill, is intuitively most people know what to do, and there's really great training out there across the brokerages, and I've seen a huge improvement in that. Being in the industry since 2004, training has become more and more a part of brokerages. Yet at the end of the day, I think there's a breakdown between the training and the implementation. And a lot of times what coaching will do is it'll look at those hangups of what might keep you from making a phone call. And that could be a variety of things. It might be not knowing your scripts. It might be your health. You might not have the energy to go out and do the things necessary to drive your business. So, yes, it is about the business, yet I focus a lot on the personal life, the mindset that it takes to get into implementation, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You could be the smartest person in the room, yet if you're not implementing, then you're not going to have a business. And so that's where coaching comes in and helps.
So certainly these things take discipline, implementation, and as you said, go back to that word, mindset. That is so important. What is the menu that, let's say, if there is a menu that you offer real estate professionals? I would imagine there's different levels that you help people at and different things you offer.
Sure. So I offer one-on-one coaching, which we spend 30 minutes a week via Zoom. And I've been doing Zoom since before Zoom was cool. We do it via Zoom, 30 minutes a week, every single week. And it's monthly. There's no long-term contracts. It's a month-to-month contract. So that's one item that I offer. Also offer group coaching, which meets Mondays at 2 p.m. Central, and it's just a flat fee. And we get together and we meet in a group setting every week for 1 hour. And I also coach brokers, team leaders, those that are responsible for the growth of an organization. I've got several years of experience, 7 years experience growing some of the largest real estate brokerages in the greater Houston area. And so helping those brokers, grow their agents, grow their agent count, and also how do they retain the talent? And then the last thing that I offer is coaching for real estate brokerages that want to provide coaching for all their agents. And so that's a customized menu of coaching and training that I work with individual brokers on a one-on-one basis to determine what that need is.
And that's a key word too, agent retention. And anyone in any field that has great professionals on their team, to keep that person there is so important.
Yes, and the biggest thing with retention is helping those agents stay productive. It's when they're not productive that they either begin to look for other opportunities with other brokerages and out there, or they may even decide to leave the industry.
We're talking with Jeremy Williams with Red Hawk Coaching. That's redhawkcoaching.com. Jeremy, what was it that made you take the leap to say, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to have my own coaching company, and here you are with Red Hawk Coaching.
Great question, Bill. I've been coaching for 10 years. I started back in 2010 with an organization and worked for the next 7 years, really perfecting the craft of coaching and helping move agents towards their goals. Back in 2017, I had made the decision to strike out on my own, and there was a couple reasons behind that. One was most organizations or coaching organizations are agenda driven, and it's kind of top down coaching. The person at the top of the organization decides, hey, we're moving this direction. They coach their coaches, then those coaches go out and they coach the agents. And I just wasn't a huge fan of that, because each agent is an individual and they each have individual goals and needs. And that's one of my distinctions, is that I really tune in to what the specific needs are for that particular agent. So it's not agenda driven. The second reason is the cost. A lot of these organizations, it's an exorbitant cost to coach with them, and a majority of that money is not even going towards the coach. It's going towards the organization, which then builds more products and services and turns around and sells it back to their agents, costing them more money. And I don't have the organization. It's me that's coaching. And, as I bring on other coaches, they'll have the same approach. Is we want to keep the costs low so that more people have the opportunity to go out and hire a coach.
And do realtors come to you and have a specific thing they need help with? And if so, what would be one of the top two things that they say, Jeremy, I'm having trouble with this?
The top two is always going to be leads. Real estate, as well as most small businesses, if you don't have leads, you're going to die on the end of the vine. So leads is a big one. The second, and which I think is even the bigger problem that they don't initially bring up, is how to manage their time. Part of lead generation is making the time to lead generate, and they don't have it even scheduled on their calendar. And so time management and lead generation, I would say, are the two largest. Now, what you find out as you dive into coaching, yes, leads are important. Yes, time management is important. Yet, what is the mindset that's keeping you from doing either one of those?
What about the real estate broker that uses your services? What would be the first or second thing that they ask you for?
When I'm working with brokers, the biggest thing they're looking for is generally agent growth. And with agent growth, they still have to develop themselves first. Then second, being able, once they've developed themselves, be able to go out and offer opportunities to develop other people that may not be getting, the support that they need or the guidance that they need. So it's about the self-growth, and then once they get to a place where they can help themselves, then being able to go help others. It's like being on a plane, right? And they say the first person you put the oxygen mask on is yourself. And then you help the person that's next to you. It's because if you can't help yourself, then you can't help the person next to you. Same way with broker coaching is, how do we help you first get established, get grounded, build that foundation, and then once you have that foundation, you can go out and help more people. Right now it's a very interesting time. The one piece of advice that I'd give is just realize that there's only 4 things you can control. It's the activities that you do on a daily basis, what you focus on, your mindset, and one of the most important is who you surround yourself with. There's so much going on in our world that we want to have control over, yet those are the 4 things that you actually have control over. So go do the activities that drive your business. Go focus on the things that are going to lift you up and not pull you down. Go focus on building that mindset, and then go find those other people that you want to carry along with you on your journey.
Let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
You can give me a call, 281-387-7689. I'll run that again. It's 281-387-7689. That's my direct cell. You're not going to call an assistant. You'll get me, or go visit my website at redhawkcoaching.com.
redhawkcoaching.com. You can call Jeremy at 281-387-7689. 2020, I think, is the year of coaching. If you don't have a coach, give Jeremy a call right there at 281-387-7689. Jeremy, thanks for being on the show.
Bill, thanks again for the opportunity, and thank you, Stewart Title, for the opportunity. It's going to be a great year despite all the things that are happening. We just got to keep moving forward, and even if that's one step at a time.
You are exactly right.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Our guest is now Sherae Smith with Connect Realty. Sherae, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill.
It is awesome. Let's tell people a little bit first, Sherae, about Connect Realty.
So Connect Realty is an awesome company. We focus on exceptional connections, and we really do that by focusing on the individual agent and pulling what they're good at out of them.
That is a great name because you are making connections all the time. People with homes, buyers, sellers. It makes sense.
Yes, it does, Bill.
So what is the market that you focus on mostly?
So the market that we focus on mostly is going to be in the Sugar Land area because, as you know, Sugar Land is a really, really popular place at the moment. It's been ranked the number 9 best suburb to live in Houston. The school districts are great there. There's a lot of great things to do, from the George Ranch Historical Park to the Houston Museum of Natural Science and Sugar Land. There's just a lot of small city vibe, but, you get the big city amenities by living in Sugar Land.
And I'm glad we're going to talk a little bit about Sugar Land. We haven't done so for quite a while on this show, but we know the business and real estate's expanding in every direction. What's the latest going on out there in Sugar Land? It is a wonderful place. You're exactly right about that.
It is. We're still seeing the Sugar Land market grow pretty well. Just in the last 30 days, we've had a lot of activity of new listings come into the market. We've actually had about 192 listings come to the market in the last 30 days. So that's very promising, especially seeing that we're in the pandemic right now. So the market is still moving, just at a different rate.
What is your outlook, let's say, for the rest of the year?
For me, I would say, it may be slow. Slower than our usual norm right now, because during the spring and summer times, those are, the busiest time of year for us in this industry. I feel that even though we're slower now, we're going to be able to make it up, at some point in 2020. Maybe we're not in the flow of, getting the things that we usually have, but I'm pretty sure we'll make it up by the end of 2020.
Let's get a feel for the price points that are out there, because I know a lot of people, there's a lot of movement, and even people hear the show from outside of the Houston area on the internet. What are the price points that one could expect? Let's say we had, $400,000, right? And we have that $400,000, and we say, Sherae, I'd like the nicest home possible in the Sugar Land area. What could we get for about that price?
For about that price, you could get a lot. You can get a lot of bang for your buck in Sugar Land, so that's the great part. We could take you to probably one of the 9 master plan communities around the Sugar Land area, whether that be Greatwood, Imperial, New Territory, or River Park. You'd get a lot of bang for your buck. You could get a pretty nice size house on a great size lot.
I'm going to add one more thing to the mix, because you know what, Sherae? It's getting hotter. And what if someone is saying, look, I live in another place. I don't live in Sugar Land, or maybe they live in Sugar Land, but they say, Sherae, it's hot. I don't want to buy a pool, but I'm ready to buy a house where I could be in a pool in a couple weeks from you. I want to pay cash. How much am I going to spend to have a nice house with a pool on the lower end of the pricing scheme?
You're going to be looking at maybe around the higher 280s, between 280 and 350 mark in the Sugar Land area. You should be able to find what you're looking for in that price point.
So let's up it a little bit for 350 or 400, just to be conservative.
Okay.
I could buy a home from you and be swimming in a couple weeks.
Sure could.
Listen, that could be a whole advertising program right there. Because I say that because I'm thinking about at my home. I don't have a pool, but I said, man, maybe I ought to buy a place with a pool and just jump right in after the closing.
Yep.
That's a good
Keep it
idea.
going.
Close the property at Stewart Title, get the keys, and then take a dip.
Take a dip. You definitely could do that.
What is better than that? What are some of the other things going on in Sugar Land? Or if you want to bring another area of town, I know you work other than Sugar Land, but what are some of the other things going on out there in the real estate world?
Right now we're in the pandemic, so of course that is a hot topic for a lot of people in our area and just around the world in general. We're just taking precautions, changing the way we do business just a little bit to keep our agents safe and our clients safe. We've kind of shifted the way we do business by hosting more virtual meetings and virtual trainings, and then on the client side of that, we've kind of switched to online consultations, online listing appointments. So we're really focusing on trying to keep the agents and clients safe here at Connect Realty. But outside of that, in Sugar Land, I mean, we sell Sugar Land, Galveston. Our home office is located in the Woodlands, which is still growing in Montgomery County, and Pearland, Rocheron. You know, we're all around the Houston and surrounding areas for any clients that are looking to buy or sell.
How long have you been in the real estate profession?
So I've been in the real estate profession for about 6 years, but I was raised around a bunch of realtors and brokers. So my family, my mom, my dad has been in the business for over 40 years. He's a broker. He does international real estate as well. So I've been raised around it. I've been opening up lockboxes since I was a kid.
That's a good idea. I mean, that gets you in the mode. As far as I was thinking about this morning as I'm walking the dogs, anticipating the show, and that is real estate. Unless you're watching TV, they make it look easy. It is not easy to be a successful real estate professional, and I would think that through the course of your career, perhaps there were challenges and maybe even a time where you thought, hey, this is too hard. If there's someone out there right now, Sherae, that might be having difficulty or thinking about a young person maybe going into the real estate profession and they're having some trouble right now, what words of encouragement would you give them to say, hey, it might be better on the other end?
Well, it's definitely always better on the other end. You just have to have a positive mindset, and that's what we teach here at Connect Realty, is you have to be able, in this industry, it's always changing. So you have to be able to adjust. Because that's what makes you successful in this business. Those who adjust are going to be the most successful. So you have to hang in there, just adjust your business, look at your numbers, know your numbers, and be able to work the business every single day.
Because there are a lot of challenges that can come up anytime when you have any kind of high dollar decision. But add to the process that real estate, residential real estate especially, can be an emotional decision. So you have to work with clients in a very special way and have that right mindset.
That is so true, Bill. And for instance, I am specialized to work in a niche market for seniors that are 50 plus. So that in itself is a huge, commitment and a passion of mine that I like to really help those transitioning from, coming in and out of town and retirement and just being with their grandkids and just really focusing on that market of helping the client overcome those obstacles of moving in and out of town and retirement just so that they could find their home here in Houston.
And as far as the marketplace in that niche, let's say, how is that going right now?
It's going really well. I know Pearland and the more south side of Houston, we're seeing a lot of new, especially in Pearland, we're seeing a lot of active living adult communities pop up, which is really great because Houston is a really good spot to retire.
It really is. There's no question. No state income tax and so many other features. Sherae, what else would you like people to know?
I would love to help anybody that is looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. And we would also love to you if you're looking to, get into the real estate business or make a switch. We'd love to talk to you about joining Connect Realty.
And if someone wants to buy or sell a home, what number should they call?
They can reach me directly at 281-619-3929.
Sounds like you said 281-619-3929. And Sherae, let's say someone wants to buy more than one home. Is that okay?
That is definitely okay on any day of the week.
Well, and I thought about that as you said the word investor. That's so important when we think about certainly commercial, but residential real estate. The residential real estate investment market is good, and you're there to help them, right?
We are definitely here to help in that market and any other.
It's been delightful, Sherae. Thank you for being on the show. You have a wonderful voice. Call Sherae at 281-619-3929, and we're going to come right back. Thank you, Sherae.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Someone said once West is best. We have Michael Roller with RE/MAX Realty West. Hey, Michael, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Bill. In fact, our motto is move west. So.
That's right. We can do that too. There's something, I mean, we can go into this a lot, but at the beginning of our country, there was always something about the West that was fascinating, that drew people to the western parts of our United States. But now, here in the Houston area, people are moving west to the western parts of our city, like where you're at. Let's tell people about where you're at.
All right. Well, so Fulshire, I moved out here 30 years ago, and I don't think many people in all of Houston had ever heard of Fulshire. And now it's one of the fastest growing areas in all of Houston. It's very exciting out here. The growth is bringing mostly, there's always the offsets to growth, but it's changing the area dramatically.
What is it that draws people to the Fulshire area? What are the attractions there in terms of the homes and even the businesses?
Mostly, Bill, it's lifestyle and value. So in any major city, as you move towards the epicenter, the costs are higher. There are people that like to live in high-rises, the excitement, the noise, the congestion, access to restaurants and everything else in downtown. But it's a relaxed, more therapeutic, scenic environment as you move out of a city. So Fulshire, since I think early 1900s, people started moving out here. They bought ranches, 1,000-acre ranches. And over time, due to Houston's westward growth, those have been subdivided. And it's one of the only areas in Houston where you have century-old pecan trees, a little bit of roll to the land, meandering lakes, Brazos River, and otherwise you have the Katy Prairie, which is basically just prairie, and then west of here it's mostly, crop fields, and the terrain is not as pleasing or aesthetically beautiful as it is in our little piece of the world out here.
What are some of the price points? As I have a feeling people will be expanding west. I've said this quite a bit on the show lately, but people, I think, are going to look for a little bit more space right now. What are some of the price points that we can find out there?
So that's one of the nice things, Bill, is you have a variety of different communities, whether you want planned communities that are exceptionally well done. Some of the best planned communities in the nation are located in the Fulshire and West Katy areas. Then you have the ones that are smaller acreage communities where you can buy an acre or 2 acres, very scenic again, back up to natural waterfronts. And then you have your larger ranches, anywhere from 5 acres to a couple hundred acres. So you have a variety of different lifestyles. Then within each, as you move out of the city, the prices tend to drop. So out here, probably the price point, we're a little higher than most. Probably the mean median mode would mostly be in the high 3s to 5 is kind of the sweet spot. But prices go up to, $5 million, $10 million, $15 million. So it all depends on what a buyer wants, and whatever they want, I think we have it out here.
Let's take the $400,000 price point in Fulshire. What can I get for $400,000?
If you're in an area like Cross Creek Ranch, which again is one of the best planned communities recognized nationwide, that will get you probably about 3,300 square feet on a nice lot. Every amenity that you can imagine, from walking trails, fitness center, a real neat splash park for the kids, pools. So it's a very family-oriented community, and that'll be one of the homes built by one of, quote, the nation's best builders. So that's if you're in Cross Creek. If you go to an area like Weston Lakes, it's a unique community. It's one of the only gated cities in the country, and there it's gated, guarded 24 hours, large lots, mostly are half acre. There the homes started being built in the late 80s, and over time, so you have ones that are older that are normally renovated. So you get the charm of an older home on these gorgeous lots. And the new homes in the 400 range, you're probably 140-ish a foot, so that would put you maybe around 3,200 square feet for that price.
And we're not far from Interstate 10, too, which is very nice. That way, if you want to go to San Antonio, we have relatives there or whatever, you jump on 10. If you keep going real far on 10, we know we can hit Laguna Beach in a couple days, maybe.
Sooner or later, you get there.
Sooner or later.
Then they build a pier so you can go a little farther yet.
That's right. We will be on 10 and then hit the 5, go south to Crown Valley Parkway, past the Costco. You're in Laguna Beach. I also want to mention, I've said it on several shows, and that is one of the other drawing cards to Fulshear is the Fulshear Police Department. They are on top of it. They've been on the show years ago, including Canine Bell, the dog, the police dog. They're incredible. They are on that. I took the tour with the chief through Cross Creek Ranch. It's a great place and very, very nice, as you described.
Yeah, Fulshear, it's one of the only that has. It was a small town. Now it's just a little bigger small town that has all the amenities. But it's still that small town charm, and part of that incorporates with the police to have it safe, secure, as much as a town can be. But they're very forward-thinking because of Harvey. They've reacted to that where they have vehicles now that are high-water vehicles, four-wheel drives, boats for rescues. So they've done an excellent job, and they're all polite, very nice. They're just an extension of the community, the police department. So it's another benefit to Fulshear.
It really is. It's a giant benefit. You mentioned people that may be living in high rises. The nice thing about Fulshear, it could be your main home, but it could also be that second home should you want to live right in the city or you work right in the city. You like the high rise life, but yet on the weekends or during the week, you just want to go out where you have some space. I think people are going to be looking for more space lately. What's the outlook right now, Michael, as we look at the market ahead for 2020?
I'll just say it's unbelievable for this reason. We're in the backyard of the energy capital of the world. So most of the residents out here, probably 60 to 70%, are energy related. And normally when oil drops, say from $60 to $50 a barrel, we feel the impact. So oil didn't drop from 60 to 50 or 40 to 30. It actually went to minus, and now it's back up to the 20s. So normally that would severely impact the market. Then you have the crash of the stock market that's coming back. I see it's up a lot today. And then you have unemployment, and then you have the coronavirus. So it's beyond the trifecta. So you would think there wouldn't be any activity, and we are actually busier. Figure this, we're actually busier than we were last year at the same time. So I look at why that is, and I guess interest rates is one that spurs buyers. There's a shortage of inventory, probably because a lot of sellers, for a variety of different reasons, chose not to list their home at this time. So there's not a dip in prices. It's not like, you have bargain hunters out there because there isn't much. So it's just a surreal market at the moment with this much activity, and it's not just us. It's the majority of realtors are seeing good activity in the midst of coronavirus. So it's, as I mentioned, it's surreal.
We're fortunate to be in the Houston area and the Fulshear area. We're talking with Michael Roller with RE/MAX Realty West. What else would you like people to know? And let's tell them how they can reach out to you.
There's always choices where you live, and there's no one better for everybody. But out here, it is unique, and it is special. So I guess it's analogous to the other major cities, like in New York, that people decide to live outside of the city for a different lifestyle. We're at the fourth largest city in the nation, and in a few minutes, you can take the West Park Toll Road or I-10, and you can be out here and enjoy country living at its best in an environment that's more than scenic. It's kind of a Garden of Eden out here. It's friendly people. It's low tax rates, better home values. So it's kind of a benefit across the board in lifestyles and recreational activities. And so it's a good place to raise a family, Bill. They can call me at phone number 281-346-0222, and it's Mike at 281-346-0222.
Sounds like you said 281-346-0222. Michael Roller out west, Remax Realty West. Michael, thank you for being on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it, Bill. You have a great day.
Our guest is Ali Galan with American Property Tax Service. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, Ali, let's tell people about your company. And we know that the deadline has already passed, but let's tell them what American Property Tax Services does.
Well, I guess you could say we're more of a boutique firm. We handle a lot of commercial, industrial, and business personal property and try to help our residential clients out as much as we can so they get their fair end of the deal and they pay their fair share of property taxes and not a penny over that.
And that's right. It seems like every year as homeowners, and certainly on the commercial end too, it just seems it's a trend that they constantly go up. And maybe that's a result of our pretty healthy real estate market right here in Houston, Texas.
Yes, that has a lot to do with our medical and our energy sector. And luckily, we have both. Some cities only have one, but our economy here is driven off of medical and energy. That brings a lot of people to our city from all over the world, actually, and that's going to basically boost home sales.
And what you said is very important, I think, is we're not here to avoid taxes. Taxes are necessary. We want to contribute our share, but we don't want to pay too much. That's why companies or people and companies use your services. Let's tell people with HCAT, how do they even, some of the basics, how they even determine, let's take the residential aspect, how they even determine our value.
Okay, so basically, to give it to you in a nutshell, no one's out on a personal vendetta to increase your home tax personally. Now, there's a computer that's set up that does all this. It basically scrapes the entire year's worth of sales and basically has a algorithm set up to where if the sales are higher per square foot, it will obviously add to your value price per square foot, hence making a higher value at the end of the year. Now, if the sales were down or if there were very little sales, they'll either reduce the value on their own or what they call reconcile it, which means roll it over from last year, keep the same value. A lot of people may have already noticed that their value may have been rolled over from last year. That means because the sales were very limited or they were on the lower end of the spectrum. But yeah, it's a computer-driven value. It's not personal. It's just business.
That's a good point. It's like a lot of things. It's really sounds like it's on automatic pilot in some ways. And also I want to bring out, too, is as we taught at Stewart Title, you are one of our experts as our business development people all around Houston, do so many things. I say stay close to your business development officer at Stewart Title because they're always doing panels, they're doing classes where they have experts like you, and you are our go-to person for property taxes. So we're appreciative that you've been helping us these years, and I would expect in the near future it may be by Zoom or whatever else, but you're there to help us and be a resource for our team and, of course, the real estate professionals in the Houston area. You always get great reviews when you're there helping us.
Thank you very much. I really, that's a major compliment. I really appreciate that.
The virus event. Let's tell people the virus event, I don't know when it actually hit. Was it February, March, maybe end of February? But when people think about the virus event, how has that affected our property values for our homes, and when did that really kick in?
Okay, so the way the county, whichever county you're in, Harris, Fort Bend, Galveston, Brazoria, Montgomery, but the way all counties work in Texas and the way that the law is written in Texas is they value the property as of January 1 of 2020. So what does that mean? That means the entire year of the entire calendar year of 19 is where they're getting their sales, not current sales, not at this moment in the middle of this crisis. They are looking at all of calendar year 2019 for sales, and they'll value it as of 1/1 of 2020. And since as of 1/1 of 2020, everything was going great, don't expect anything astronomical to happen with your value as far as going down, because that will be next year when they view the calendar year of 2020 and find out, wow, this virus really affected home values.
Well, and that's interesting, too. As I've been talking since this happened to real estate professionals, realtors, every show, 3, 4 at a time, out of the many that since the virus started, it is interesting. Most of them, 3/4 to most of them, are saying that their business is really good, and we're thankful for that. But we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the year. We hope it remains strong. Let's flip the idea, because we all, as far as one of the indicators of what goes on in any city, certainly here in Houston, Texas, is the commercial values. That, I think, is going to be a different story, not just here, but even nationwide. What are you seeing happening there in terms of values of these office buildings and the people that you're serving in the commercial end?
Well, commercial end encompasses a lot of different types of properties. There's office warehouse, there's shopping centers, there's office buildings, there's medical offices, there's apartments. These all fall under the commercial category. Even though you may think apartments should fall under residential, it's actually commercial. So in many of these sectors, especially a city of our own, even as resilient as we are, because of what I said, medical and energy, we have the best of both worlds. The way I see commercial property going down is that a lot of the retail, basically the shopping centers, they are full of gyms, nail salons, restaurants, all these businesses, by law or by the stay home, were forced to shut down and given reopen dates of, indefinitely. At one point, they had no idea when they were going to reopen. So these businesses went from a nice, steady flow of income to literally zero until a to be announced or to be determined came up as to when they would open. And when they opened, they would only open at 25% capacity, 50% capacity, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I see those sectors of retail and shopping centers being hurt the most. Basically, the tenant telling the property owner, well, we can't pay this month or next month's rent. Then I see that the apartment complex is going to start booming because a lot of people have been furloughed, lost their job, laid off, and they cannot afford their home payment anymore, forcing them to move out, fire sell their house, and get into an apartment that's basically half the monthly payment that they were making. And that's affected a lot of people, especially when the futures of oil went into the negative. And that scared a lot of people. It affected the stock market, which is going to affect your basically your bottom line. So as far as commercial is concerned, in 2020, which is basically calendar year 19, everything was on the up and up. Everything was doing great. But this year, as we're sitting in it now, basically for 2021 values, it'll be down substantially. Be ready for that. But as far as apartment complexes, these type of commercial properties and office buildings, I put that under the same category as retail because they're probably not allowed to walk into the office building because of the elevators and entrance and, all the access points that are public. They probably shut them all down.
And it's going to be interesting from the retail standpoint, as you're saying, and office buildings. There are now experts emerging in terms of layout. There's going to be new layouts. There are companies that are saying, hey, I don't need this much office space anyway. So, yes, it's going to be really in an influx situation for 2020.
A lot of people are getting used to shopping on Amazon now for a lot of the stuff that they were going out for retail for. I'll give you an example. Let's just say fishing tackle or bicycles or clothing or deodorant or toothpaste. All these items that they were used to leaving their house, now afraid to, that is going to affect the bottom line of whatever retail store is out there, because those retail stores are paying rent, and their rent is based off of the income that they bring in. And if they're not bringing in any income to pay that rent, and people are buying online, or a clothing store, or even all these little businesses that are dependent on the retail dollars, now people are purchasing online and getting used to it and loving the fact that they don't have to leave their house anymore. These are starting to really take off. I wouldn't be surprised if even grocery stores ended up with just being a warehouse and no more walkthroughs. They would just deliver it to your house, or be a curbside pickup. And that's going to become very popular soon. So all those big box tenants, like an HEB, that is sitting in a shopping center with like a liquor store, a nail salon, a clothing store, all those other businesses, if that HEB moves out, well, guess what happens to the traffic flow? It goes down substantially, and those retail spots are not going to make it.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see if we were able to look ahead 2-3 years from now. It's going to be a different complexion all around. Also, going back to the thing you're saying about apartments. So your prediction from your perspective, viewing property taxes for commercial and residential, you're thinking there's going to be an uptick in the apartment popularity. And I'm going to ask you, what about storage units? That's a commercial property. What do you think is going to happen in the storage world?
Absolutely. You're going to, like I said, since you will be downsizing, or since those people will be downsizing, they have a lot of this furniture that's just left, and furniture and personal effects that are just, they don't fit all into that apartment. Hence, because you're downsizing, and you really don't want to sell any of that stuff. So yes, I think that those are going to be close to 90% occupied, if not 100% occupied. And it's a very inexpensive way of keeping all your goods in a climate-controlled area, and that's going to be, I'm sure it's already booming. We haven't seen the numbers for 2020 yet, because that's going to be relevant next year. But I assume because of the downsizing, people will be using those storage facilities. Absolutely.
Well, Ali, with the last minute before we close out this segment, what else would you like people to know? And let's tell them how they can reach out to you if they're in the commercial world, or certainly for the residential help with their property taxes. Let's tell them that.
Well, first off, I work very closely with an individual named Jen Alcorta. She does all the residential protests for me, and her number is 832-423-2964. So if you need representation, or if you protested it on your own and you need our help, give that number a call, talk to her, and she'll take care of you. Now,
give that number again, please.
That number again is 832-423-2964. And let's just say you want to handle this protest on your own. You have full faith in yourself. And like I've always told people, nobody knows the property like the property owner themselves. But if time doesn't permit and you just don't want to deal with it, give her a call. Now, if you want to handle it yourself, you can reach out maybe to the real estate agent who helped you get into that house and ask them to run a few comps for you of houses that sold from 1/1 of 19 to 1/1 of 20. And that'll give you a little bit more ammunition to go in and get that value reduced. Also, please include pictures of any kind of, negative wear and tear of your house that need to be fixed, foundation issues, termites, the list is endless. Make sure you have pictures, and make sure you have estimates for these things. And let's say you keep your house like Bill's, tip-top, always clean, no maintenance-related issues. You just want to pay your fair share, not a penny more, and you're looking for a reduction, and you're wanting to do this on your own. Head over to a website called Jubally, JUBALLY.com. Now, Jubally is basically an online software that you can put your address in for free, and it'll tell you whether you have a shot or not at getting a reduction in your property tax. And if it says you do have a shot, then I believe it's $50 or $75 for the report. And trust me, guys, I use this software myself. It's very worth it. Very detailed comparables, very detailed sales comps, and making adjustments to make that comparable similar to yours. That website is Jubally, JUBALLY.com. And that website will help the average Joe have the upper hand in a hearing at any at the counties.
There you go. And let's say someone in the commercial world is listening and they want your help. What should they do?
Okay, if that's the case, you feel free to give me a call. I'm at 281-240-0101, and my extension is 302, and we'll get you taken care of, and we'll happy to help you out and discuss your issue for free, a free consultation. Sometimes we end up taking on the client. Sometimes the client, I've convinced the client that their property value is right where it needs to be.
There you go.
So,
Ali Galan, American Property Tax Service. Ali, you've been called in some circles, especially when I'm talking about you, the property tax superhero. You can give them a call at 281-240-0101. Reach out to Ali, and Jen is there to serve you as well for your residential. What's her number again?
Her number again is 423-2964.
Ali Galan, thank you so much for being on the show and for being our partner at Stewart Title.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you for having me.
Real Estate Matters would not even be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risk. Once again, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Bill. Always a pleasure to be with you.
What have you brought for us today?
Well, Bill, we've talked several times about if you break insurance down to its basic form, it's a matter of how much risk you wish to take and how much risk you wish to offset onto the insurance company. As we have conversations with our clients, we often talk about, especially on the business side for our real estate brokers, what are some of the things that they can do to minimize their risk. We can help them for sure offset that risk with the appropriate insurance plan so that they're confident in the coverage that they have. But there are also some things that the broker can do and their firm can do to minimize those risks so that they hopefully don't have to file a claim and use the insurance. And I've been working on a proposal for a client for some cyber liability coverage, and in part of that research, getting ready for the presentation, I came across a really neat cybersecurity checklist that real estate firms can use and do for themselves to help them minimize that risk, and it's from our friends at the National Association of Realtors.
A much needed list at this point in time.
Absolutely. They break it down into kind of three really key areas to take a look at. One is email and password hygiene. So email and password hygiene. And they recommend things like, never click on an unknown attachment or link, because then you could end up downloading some malware. Use an encrypted email yourself, a transaction management platform, or a document sharing program to share sensitive information. And Stewart Title was one of the leaders in that area in using that document management, document sharing programs, as well as a Notary Online program as well. Be careful and guard your login and access credentials so others can't find them. Regularly purge your email and archive the important emails in secure locations. Make sure your passwords are long and complicated with the combinations of letters and numbers and capital and lowercase and symbols. Don't use the same password for multiple accounts. Look at two-factor authentications when it's available and avoid using unsecured Wi-Fi. So those are some of the ways that you can email and password hygiene. Other IT-based security measures could be, keep antivirus software and firewalls active and up to date. Keep your operating systems and programs patched and up to date. Back up your critical data on a regular basis and keep it in a separate off-site location. Don't download apps without verifying. We talk about that all the time of if there's something that comes through, call to verify and find the number that's on, the original paperwork. And then consider some things about developing and implementing some of your own policies, document retention and destruction policy, a cyber data and security policy, a breach response and brief notification policy. Ensure your staff and licensees have reviewed and are following all of the policies that you've established. Stay up to date on what your state laws are that require you. Are there any things that they require you have to do from a cyber and data related possibility? Work with your attorney to develop a written disclosure warning form, letting clients know of the possible transaction related cybercrimes and the processes that you'll follow. And then, as always, stay current with your insurance and spend time with your insurance advisor to make sure that if you do have cyber coverage, that it's meeting the needs of your firm. And if you don't, then let's take a look at how that coverage might best benefit you.
And what you said right there, John, is worth hearing again. I will tell people simply they can be my friend on Facebook, because right after the broadcast, I will have your standalone segment on Facebook where they can simply go and hear these things again. Super solid content right there. And who would have thought when we were in high school, those many years ago, in my case, that well, I don't think we heard about passwords when it was like James Bond stuff. Little did we know how big passwords would be in our lives, the many we would need, and then, of course, password management. Who would have thought?
Oh, absolutely. It's one thing to have them, but now they can't all be your initials and the first, the part of your address or your children's birthday. That they can't be the same thing, and they need to be, unfortunately, complicated. But taking those simple steps can go a long way in minimizing the potential risk of a cyber fraudster infiltrating your brokerage firm.
That's right. And also to point out to people, we have done shows, especially December, November last year, on cybercrime, where we had some specialists, even an FBI agent, so people can go to stewart.com/Houston to hear those past shows and get up to speed on the cyber element and the risks that they face, and like you said, some of the things we can do to protect. Before we close out, what should we know?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, Bill. One, you're exactly right. It's worth visiting stewart.com/Houston for the archive of our shows, because we did have 3 really good cybercrime only shows last year. Earlier this year, we spent a couple of our episodes talking about a little more in depth about the cybercrime policies, and that would be worth a listen. And then always you can visit with one of our insurance advisors at Stewart Insurance. You can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827, or shoot us an email at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And when I mentioned Facebook, Stewart Insurance also has a Facebook page where you put just your segments right there, so it's easy for people to access that.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about us on the web, you can visit us at stewartinsurance.com.
The phone number again, John, is?
866-798-2827.
As always, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, powered by Stewart Insurance, and so many great individuals put this show together. So thank you all for listening. Simply go to stewart.com/Houston, Stewart Insurance Facebook page, and listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Bill Nampick, your host, and the one and only John Bramblett right there as we close things out. Right, John?
Yes, sir.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827, stewartinsurance.com. That's stewartinsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.